I'm your host, Lisa Ajiombo. On today's segment, we're going to navigate on Mother's Youth and campus life. With me in studio are amazing guests who have been able to venture into the world of information and journalism. Welcome to my stand, great people. You may just introduce yourselves.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Yideli. I'm humbled to be here in the show. Enjoy.
Hi, I am Jepchumba Flavian, founder of the Flav Foundation and Gallery.
Hi viewers, my name is Antonia Chayo. I'm a journalist by profession. I work at Top Voice Radio as the CEO. I'm also a writer. I work in Rongo University Writers Club as a chief editor. And today I'm pleased to be with some of the journalists whom I mentored. I hope you'll enjoy the show.
Welcome and stay tuned. To begin with, let's talk about mothers affecting us. Guys, what do you think are some issues affecting university students? Issues that students tend to encounter in their daily life.
Okay, with me I'll start because I'm the last to speak. So the ball is still on my court. So one of the issues is just depression. Yeah, depression is one of the major issues that students do go through in campus.
I might expand on his topic about depression. Yeah. Depression simply means mood disorder that tend to cause maybe loss of interest or feelings of sadness. And what most people don't get about depression is that depression starts entirely when maybe you've been faced with a problem or an issue, and instead of solving this problem or an issue, you escape the reality or you escape the consequences of facing what the outcome might have been. And piling these problems, with time, everything goes sideways. As in, the problems pile up, you feel like no one is there to your aid to help you, and that leads to depression.
To you, Miss Nelly.
Okay, for me, depression is a little bit wide. Depression causes changes of behavior. There is that feeling of I'm not wanted anymore. You feel guilty, you feel worthless. That is a major feeling when one is depressed. That is a major sign to indicate that one is depressed. Another one, there are feelings like suicidal feelings. You feel like I don't want to live anymore. This thing is becoming too much for me. You feel like I want to die. I have no reasons for living anymore. You see, that's why we'll have cases of people committing suicide because they feel depressed. They feel they can't take it anymore. Yeah.
Thank you. You've talked so much about depression. What are the causes that lead someone to be depressed? What actually makes someone to be depressed?
One of the causes that can lead to depression can be family background or history. When someone comes from either low or a humble background or even a rich background, there are always setbacks in that background. When maybe you're from a poor background, when you are in the university or college or any institution whatsoever, you are likely to be faced with problems that attack directly your background. Maybe you need cash to do this, and because you don't have, you tend to be depressed. My friend has this, my friend has that, while I myself lack this.
Wow, amazing. The only gentleman, what do you think are the causes of depression?
Yeah, one of the major causes of depression among the youths is the relationship. Youths enter into relationship very fast without knowing the end and the tail. So you end up being heartbroken. Once you've been heartbroken, you start being depressed. So I just want to urge my fellow youths that before you get into a relationship, take your time. Just do a survey. Who is this person? Study him or her for some time so that you may not end up being depressed.
Yeah, actually heartbreaks lead to depression in most circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, between the men and the women, who tend to be more depressed? Miss Nelly.
Between the men and the women tend to be more depressed. statistics have shown that in a woman's lifetime, there is always a certain time that they will go at a certain trauma or a depressive instance where, like, for example, when you lose a loved one, that is an example. A woman tend to be more stressed than a man. You know, there is that nature thing.
Women tend to be more emotional, right?
They tend to be more emotional. For example, I lose a loved one, maybe my parent or a close friend or a sibling. I'll take time. I'll be so emotional affected and it may lead to depression. For men, you know, they will just, you know, there is that belief in the society, men have to be strong, you know, and then they are not likely to be depressed as the women.
Mr. Anthony, do you agree with her that women tend to be more depressed?
No, I want to totally disagree. And yeah, the evidences. You know, men do, sometimes they do keep quiet about their problems. And as you all know that a problem shared is a problem solved.
Yeah.
So women, after finding ourselves into challenges in life, we do keep them for ourselves, because how will someone look at you, me, Antonia Chayo, going to tell Roger Sotiso that my girlfriend broke a fight with me yesterday? You see, I'll be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So I just keep quiet with that problem, and then the more I keep quiet, the more I become depressed. But on the side of women, even if you just disagree with her, just some small issue, we'll be up there shouting, Anthony has beaten me.
No.
Anthony has beaten me. You want to call the entire university to know that Anthony Achawi is a thief.
Come on, you have to understand that we're more emotional.
That
you want to be listened to.
Hey, that's why I say that men are more depressed than women, because they keep quiet with their problems.
More of a balance in this matter. Men and women, we are all human beings. At the end of the day, I might not bring closure to depression or what depression really means or how to overcome depression. But when we tend to subjugate or say women are more depressed or men are more depressed, depression comes from emotions, sadness, the feelings. Emotions are always overrated, you know. When I'm sad about something, the only way to overcome that is by opening up. You know, you can't say that men don't open up. The culture has dictated that men are always strong. Women are saying that they maybe speak out their issues. No. The only weapon for maybe bringing a closure or not bringing a closure to depression is by opening up. Always speak your feelings, speak you, because at the end of the day, it's you yourself. You're not doing it for others. Yeah.
There's that issue of utilization of health money and youth empowerment and having the youth fund. What's your take? Have the youths been able to utilize the money given to them? Because this another issues affecting the youths. They've given money from the government. Do you think the youths have been able to utilize the money given to them? Mr. Anton.
Okay. First of all, I want to appreciate the government of Kenya for remembering the youths with help. Without help, the university students at this moment are suffering a lot, because some of them come from less privileged backgrounds, and that help is the one paying for their school fees, rent, and upkeep. So, variety of youths do think that they are now rich because the government has just sponsored with some small cash, not knowing that where they are coming from, their parents are sleeping hungry for them to be in school. So I want to urge my fellow youths, once you receive your help, first thing you should do, look at the basic things. The basic in your academics life is school fees, rent, and upkeep. Leave alone dressing codes, and this dressing code is brought up with another issue that we will talk about called peer pressure. I think my boss has told me that we'll talk about something about peer pressure. So leave alone peer pressure, be yourself, be you, just as Flavian has said, be you. And maximally use your help on basic things. Yeah.
Ms. Jepchumba, with massive opportunities out there, what do you think are some of the ideas or employment opportunities the youths can come up with? Help money out there. There's the youth fund, there's the Wezo fund, there's women empowerment fund, right?
Bursaries.
Yeah. So and there's that help money where only which percentage is deposited into your account to cater for the school?
Minimum of 4,000 maybe.
Yeah, with this money and this massive opportunity, yeah, this balance that we make, do you think which are these opportunities that the youths can grab to invest in this money?
To start off first, it's a funny thing to say that help money can enable me or someone else to be productive or to get something out of it. As Anthony has said, help money should be kept or should be stored for basic things such as the rent, the school fees and the upkeep.
Yeah.
And what about the remaining 3,000, remaining 2,000, remaining 10 even for others maybe? But what can this, the remaining cash that we have in our hands help us maybe to be productive? There are a dozen of opportunities in our society. Maybe you can start as a communication personnel. I can maybe advocate or embark on doing something like blogging, online stuff, you know. Sometimes you can be ridiculed that to get followers is maybe tiring, a tedious job to do. But this help money or this empowerment money that we are given by the government is minimal or is less. Or maybe our budgets tend to be a bit high and what we remain with is less. So maybe we can start off opportunities that require less cash. I've never heard of networking jobs, but I don't know if it works. But at least do something that will help you remain in some upkeep and maybe have something for productivity.
I imagine you can also start shoemaking, you can sell eggs, just start something with this money, utilize it, don't waste it. To you, Miss Nelly, for you to make massive wealth, you need to be involved in production. Why do you think the youths are so afraid or scared of starting something out for themselves? Rather, they exploit the money given. Why do you think they're so scared of taking these opportunities out there?
As for me, there is that fear of being how is it called? Like, you fear starting something. For example, I start selling sukuma wiki. Yeah. And then my fellows will be like, look at this girl. You want to be seen classy. Yeah. So you feel like if I start, for example, working something, my fellows are going to do what? To demean me. Yeah. So that is one great fear that people like. I would rather stay with this money, use it for luxury, for my fellows to see that I'm here and I'm in that class, you understand? Yeah. If you start something low, you fear maybe I may lose some friend, they may see me, I don't know, something like that, you understanding? So people now will opt for utilizing the money in luxurious things. You see? Yeah, and at the end of it all, you're not going to be productive at all.
To you, Mr. Anthony Achayo, do you think the government has been fair in distributing the youth fund, especially youth fund? Because the youth fund out there, do you think the government has been able to reach to that common youth, common mwananchi, that youth who wants to invest? Do you think the government has been able to reach out?
Yeah, according to me, I think the government is doing its role in helping the youth to achieve something for themselves. But the problem is in the ground now. The government has organs, different organs. Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta can't come from Nairobi to go to your village and distribute youth cash. He has his people on the ground. So these people are the people failing us. Money, after money has been dispersed from the national treasury, these people pocket this cash for youths. You find even some people above the age of 40, they call themselves youths because the issue is corruption. So first of all, the government should look a way of fighting corruption is when our youth can benefit from the youth fund that the government is offering.
Yeah, and how can the youths be able to acquire, especially youth fund?
Yeah.
Because after you finished your university education, you're out there, the government offers opportunity like the Uwezo Fund, the Women Empowerment Fund, it's out there. How can I, after my 4 years of study, get this opportunity? How can I?
Okay, I also want to urge my fellow youths that after campus or before you finish campus, you've called it Uwezo Fund, Women, something. I urge youths to come together and form an association. You can call it Youth Association. So if the government is distributing money to the association, you have your ideas, ideologies, your objectives. What do you want to do in that your association? Not that you are just independent. You know, government can't work with independent. We work as a team, and government will believe in us. We say that this team, for example, PTV team, they are doing good job, and they lack some of the equipment that can make them do better. So let's give them this cash. But if you, Lisa, you go to the National Treasury and say, I want such and such equipment, you know, there's a difference. The way they will look at you and the way they will look at a team. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Ms. Jepchumba, Mr. Anthony talked about the issue of peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know, why if a person will always ask, a youth will always ask, if people are doing it, why not me? What do you think are the causes of peer pressure in university?
The cause of peer pressure itself comes from drastic decision making. You tend to be somewhere and maybe Nelly tells me, Flavian, try this alcohol. Flavian, try this, you see. And because I want to make her happy, or so that I can fit in her group or the classic group that she talked about, I'll use the alcohol, I'll join a team that maybe indulges in things that are not good or impacting the society, you see. Peer pressure itself comes from the inward pressure, and I can advise people out there, the youth, that decision making is what is the key to success, or the key that will drive you. Your destiny and everything lies on the decisions that you make.
Thank you. Miss Nelly, how can students in the university overcome peer pressure?
Okay, to overcome peer pressure, just fit in, be yourself. Be satisfied with what you have. If my parent can give me this, wacha nitosheke na hiyo. You see, like if I see, like I start doing like, I can't get this. For example, we girls have a very big problem. When it comes to peer pressure, we are the most affected. Because we want to live that luxurious life, and we can't afford it. That's why we will find people looking for sponsors. It is out of peer pressure. Because I want to live that classy life, I will still emphasize that classy life because it is affecting us here in campus. Just fellow students, be satisfied with what you can get kindly. If I'm satisfied, I will work more so that when that time comes. For now, my key issue is studies. Even if you you get that the grade to have that money now, the what? Study. What you want to have, you'll have it later. Get satisfied with what you can access at the moment, and you will not be pressured at all.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Nelly. And students in the university, then there's lack of employment. There are massive opportunities out there, but all students, only, is it 1% only, or the 99 are not employed? What do you think is the cause of this? Are the youth really afraid to go out there and grab those opportunities? Mr. Anthony?
Okay, I want to just to challenge you a bit, even though it's a question posed to me. I want to say that the opportunities are there. It is the youths that skills. The problem is the skills. You remember one day we were being mentored by a senior journalist called Alphonse Shiondo. She told us that nowadays they will not look at papers, they look at the skills. Youths nowadays, they ought to think that let's do book work and forget about skills. But I want to urge my fellow youths, now the world has changed. There are many people outside there with papers. Now, whatever you are doing, put more practice in it. give it an attempt. Don't just go to class, take notes, go back to your hostel and sleep, wait for the next class. And that's the reason why if you go there in the field, you'll be requested to practice what you've come to do. Then you find you're blank because you never attempted it before. So that's the reason why youths are coming back from the offices saying that there's no job, yet they can't practice what they are going to do. Yeah, be creative.
What is your take?
I might add on a child's take that we need skills to be able to navigate ourselves in this society. Unemployment as an issue is something that is really wide. But again, as we take back the history of Kenya or our society, there is something known as being conservative about ideas. The positions that are held in our societies, people who hold high positions in our society, maybe like, let's say, our institution, or maybe they're back at your market, at any position actually in our society. People who are mostly employed are people above the age of 30, are people above the age of 35. You see, where are the youth? People tend to be conservative, that they want to only conserve the thinking and the creativity of the old people, that they can make Kenya a better place, you see.
Miss Nelly, your take.
Okay, for me, about employment issue, okay, there is that thing, there is belief in Kenya that you must have connection.
Yeah.
There is that thing of connection, and it is there. Even if we have, maybe you may have applied the skills that you've been taught, what. But to be honest, in the country we are, in Kenya, I think you require connection, as for me, what I think. So this connection issue, let's just be, I don't know, it is caused maybe by corruption or what?
I would say they're well navigated on some of the matters the youths face. There are many issues affecting them, but they have navigated on those main issues. Nevertheless, do not kill your dream of coming to university. There's that better side of it all. Thank you for staying tuned. Let's meet on our next segment. Thank you.